Assalamualaikum and good day. Hi there, I'm Diana. We meet again for WE013 writing skills. So, what are we going to learn today? Today we are going to learn how to paraphrase. You ready? Our objective is very simple, which is by the end of this lesson, you should be able to paraphrase. Now, what is a paraphrase or paraphrasing? Paraphrasing means formulating someone else's ideas in your own words. To paraphrase a source, you need to rewrite a passage without changing the meaning of the original text. Why do we need to paraphrase? In academic writing, it's usually better to paraphrase instead of quoting, because it shows that you have understood the source and makes your work more original. Every time you paraphrase, it's important to cite the source. You also have to be careful not to use wording that is too similar to the original. Otherwise, you could be at risk of committing plagiarism. Now remember, you have to submit your writing assessment or assignment by 8th of October 2020. Now this skill is very important because you have to paraphrase the articles that you have chosen as a group.
You're here. Probably know a thing or two about paraphrasing, but still struggle to master the art of it. Fear not. I'll explain how to paraphrase in 5 easy steps and give you a few tips along the way. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Jessica from Scribber, and we're here to help you achieve your academic goals. And in this video, we'll be talking about paraphrasing. So, what is paraphrasing? A paraphrase is a rewriting of a specific passage from someone else. It's done in your own words, without changing the original meaning and also not removing any information. Okay, we know the meaning, so let's get started. Here are 5 easy steps to paraphrasing. Step 1. Read the passage several times to fully understand the meaning. Step 2. Note down the key concepts. Step 3. Write your version of the text without looking at the original. Step 4. Compare your paraphrased text with the original one, and if you find phrases too similar, make changes. Step 5. Cite the source of the text like the example here. You can also cite easily with the Scribber citation generator. Remember, you don't need the quotation marks to paraphrase. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You know the steps, but it's still quite difficult to actually produce a piece of text that's different from the original. Don't you worry, I have 4 tips to help make everything easier for you. Whenever you see this little pause button, it's there to remind you if you ever need more time to read through the examples, you can pause and take your time. Tip number 1. Start your first sentence at a different point from the original source. Tip number 2. Use synonyms. Make use of the thesaurus if you can't think of any synonyms. Tip number 3. Change the sentence structure. Try using passive voice if the original text used active, and vice versa. Final tip. Break long sentences into smaller sentences, or combine sentences into a longer one. In this example, you can see we've applied the 4 tips. First, we introduce the context followed by the last part of the original sentence, which is the expectations of creators, regulators, and users. We also use quite a few synonyms, such as exposed a critical turning point, made it apparent, outpaces, rapidly eclipsed, power, immense influence. Third, we change from active to passive voice. Technology outpaces what users, regulators, or even its creators expected. The expectations of creators, regulators, and users have been rapidly eclipsed by technology. And finally, the original was 1 long sentence. We broke it into 2 smaller sentences. Now that you know the tips for paraphrasing, make sure you don't confuse it with quoting, which is when you copy a source word by word. Naturally, you should end up paraphrasing most of the information you found instead of quoting if you have done your research thoroughly, which is ultimately a better solution since it shows that you have digested your text, your paper will have a much better flow, plus your voice will remain dominant throughout the paper. With that being said, only use quotes when you are giving a definition, presenting an author's position, or when you want to support your argument. Make sure to check out this video on how to quote if you're interested. And that's it for today's video. If you've learned something, give this video a like, and if you have a question, ask away in the comment down below and I will reply. See you soon in our next video.
Do you get all the steps? You can always replay the video if you didn't get it. Now, list down all the 5 steps in the comment section of this video. I'm going to show you an example of how you can paraphrase legitimately. Now, this is the original passage. I'm going to ask you to read this for 1 minute. I hope you understand this passage. Now look at the reference. The reference is written based on APA format. So you have the author first, and then after that the year and the title of the article, and then you must, if let's say it is retrieved from the internet, you have to put the date that you retrieve it and from which website or the URL address. So this is the original passage. Now this is a legitimate paraphrase from the original. Can you see the difference? Firstly, you must make sure that you quote the source. So if you see at the bottom, Leicester 1976, this is what we call in-text citation. So whenever you paraphrase, make sure that you have the in-text citation based on APA format. What I am showing you now is a plagiarized version of the original passage. If you notice, many of the words used here are similar or exactly the same as the one in the original passage. So please don't do this in your assignment because plagiarism is a serious offense in the academic world. Besides, we have software to detect if you plagiarize from the internet. Let's recap, shall we? Our objective is by the end of this lesson, you should be able to paraphrase. I hope by now you already know how to paraphrase after watching the video and listening to all the 5 easy steps. In fact, you can always browse the internet or Google how to paraphrase. Now this is your practice. Well, they say practice makes perfect. In your writing assignment group, decide on 1 paragraph from each article that you want to paraphrase. This means you will have 2 paragraphs because you have to search 2 articles for your assignment, right? Now, paraphrase each paragraph by typing it in the Google document. Do not forget to quote the source and make sure that it follows APA format. Then check for plagiarism index or percentage from free plagiarism checker online. There are many actually. You just Google it and then you will find there are many free plagiarism checker online. Then you share the Google document link with your respective lecturer for feedback. Well, that's all for today. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.